think when we were making the show, it felt very special. Like the energy on set and how the footage was looking and, you know, the quality of the performances, everything. I think everyone felt like pretty excited and hoped that it would resonate and, you know, reach a lot of people. But the thing is that we're in Canada, and so we were like, oh, maybe it'll be great in Canada, you know, and like hopefully it gets picked up some other places and does pretty well. I don't know how you could foresee this like level of kind of like mass infiltration or something.
Very good at hockey.
The best, probably.
Will we seeing each other a lot?
Yeah, Boston and Montreal play against each other often.
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's, you know, I think the writing is excellent, both the source material and Jacob's adaptation of that source material. He's literally the most talented person I know. So I think there's that. There's the quality of the actors who are unbelievable. And the DOP, like everyone on set was so talented and so kind. But I also really believe that there's like something at the core of the story that, you know, I'm not going to say all people because I don't want to speak for everyone, but that most people crave in their life. And that's the level of human connection that we see occurring between these people in this story. Like, that they find their person, you know? And I think just like a lot of people really desire that.
You don't have to do this.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So ultimately, my first priority is to ensure that the actors' consent levels and boundaries are being adhered to. So when I'm on set, that's a part of what I'm maintaining, is that nothing is being changed and that, you know, the boundaries and the actions and the choreography that we agreed to previously are, being adhered to. But it's a lot of other things too, you know, I do a lot of communicating between all the departments to make sure that the set is closed and everyone knows what we're doing, and to see if anyone else, like my role extends to the crew as well. Like if there's a scene that someone feels uncomfortable with in the crew, like making sure that they know ahead of time in case they want to step off or whatever. And then it's really like hovering at the monitor with the director and trying to make sure that the intimacy or nudity or hyperexposure is playing out in a way that is technically correct, that feels correct for the story, that feels like emotionally resonant, and also kind of using my like deep spidey senses to make sure that the actors are okay, you know, like, yeah, and then checking in with the director to see if there's anything that they would like altered. Oh yeah, very technical. I mean, the choreography is often like down to like an inch of like a hip placement or a hand placement in order to like be masking modesty garments to work with the angle of the camera so that all of the simulation that you're seeing, because it's all simulated sex, can feel realistic to the viewer. And that takes so much preparation, so many conversations, fittings, you know, adjustments of camera, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's a big demand on the actors, honestly. Jacob and I really talked about treating the intimacy as choreography, so like a dance. So if you imagine it that way, the actors are literally performing a series of like hyper-scripted actions that literally play out like a dance. And then they're imbuing that with their artistry and their beautiful spirits and their freedom and everything. But, you know, if you think about how hard it is to learn the steps of a dance, so that you know it well enough to be able to like let that go, that's comparable, I think. When I first speak to them, I try to approach the conversations with like a level of grounded directness so that they feel that there's nothing that they can't say to me in a way, you know? Obviously within the bounds of like professionalism, but just that so if things do feel vulnerable or awkward, or if they have an issue at any point in the process or on the day, it's possible for us to have a conversation about that, because I think acting and making art ultimately does include like vulnerability and awkwardness. And so if we're able to like accept that and be in dialogue about it, yeah, that's my approach anyway to it. So that, you know, if they're like, oh, my modesty garment is a bit loose, I need to fix it or something, I'm like, oh my God, okay, let's fix it. Here I am to help you, you know?
Come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
No, you come here.
You know, I can say from my acting experience, the best jobs were always the ones where you like really get along with your co-star or like with the people you're performing with, just because it makes everything easier, which I think is possibly true in all professions. You know, if you love your coworkers, then it's like, oh, going to work is so much fun. And if you have to have difficult conversations, it's much easier to have, that kind of thing. So I would say it's comparable to that. And also in acting, you know, often when there's two people who are going to have like a romantic connection on screen, then you have a chemistry read, which I know Hudson and Connor did have chemistry reads in their casting process. And I think we're just like lucky that they had that good connection and just gave us a really excellent base to begin from, you know, that they had good communication and liked each other, just made everything a bit easier.
Great pass.
Where'd I go?
Okay, you guys want third square.
Hey, Hollander. Can you get these kids some money? I don't have my wallet.
You know, I've been an artist for a long time, and I think that the desire, for me anyway, has always been to like reach people in a way that feels meaningful, where like we're generating empathy or people feel seen or we're pushing the needle, the cultural and socio-political needle forward, you know, to engage in conversation and like to evolve literally as human beings. And to feel like this show is doing that to some degree is like, I mean, that's the dream.
In case you missed it somehow, I came out as gay in a ridiculously public way. And I've always been a private person. I've never really shared anything about my private life. But from what I've seen over the past few weeks, it's maybe important that I do a bit.
Oh my God, I just genuinely feel so happy for them. They're both such like talented, kind, wonderful people. They're both such true, like, they both are so devoted to their craft and they're genuinely like people with so much integrity. They're both very charming, very funny, like really real people as well. I feel like both very honest people, if that makes sense, like no facade, super genuine. I think they both have a silly side, which I feel like the world has already seen. And both genuinely just very kind. They were both so lovely to work with, but also just like always very respectful and kind to like everyone on the set. Yeah, to me, they're just standout guys. What can I say? Honestly, I can say that I'll be back on set and that's all I know.
What are you most looking forward to with season 2?
I really look forward to like seeing relationships evolve. Like both, interestingly, I think it'll be cool for, you know, whoever from the team is able to come back for those relationships, like creative collaborations to evolve, because it's so nice when you get the chance to like further a project with someone, you know, hopefully it can only get better. But also just to see how the character relationships evolve and how much deeper we can dive into like the complexity of humanity that I feel like the show is exploring. Yeah, it's very lucky. I feel really lucky.